Howdy doody, welcome back to the ranch. My name is Mick. This behind me is my driveway. It sounds so uninteresting when I say it that way. It is interesting and it's exciting. This is my front driveway. I didn't have one of those before. I just had a bunch of asphalt millings. It looked like a parking lot. Well, you guys are about to watch the transformation. That's going to take some heavy equipment. We're talking planes, trains, and not dozers, trucks, and excavators. So without further ado, let's get started. So obviously I'm sitting here in the future right now, and I realized I never made an intro for this video, so I'm doing it now. And the reason I didn't do that is because I was scrambling for time. If you guys watched the last video of me cleaning up the back 40 of this property, which if you haven't seen that video, you can go ahead and click the link and catch up. It would make the most sense to watch that before this one, but I'm not your boss. You do what you want to do. If you want to watch this one and then watch the other one, go right on ahead. Just do me a favor and watch both. So essentially I explained in the last video that my boss loaned me some equipment for a week's time. And although I was very gracious for every minute that I had with that equipment, it obviously wasn't going to be enough time to do everything that I wanted to do. So I crammed in as much as I could. In the backyard, I cleaned up all the garbage that I could get to, made a bunch of stockpiles of tires and concrete and logs, you name it. But I did all that on my own, and over the weekend I had some help. So we're gonna start at the beginning of me laying out where I want the driveway to go. Then we're gonna hit it heavy and get into all the equipment work. We're gonna be moving a bunch of asphalt millings, dirt, just pounding the pavement, if you will, before the rain hits. This is the main part of the drive to my neighbors. It is, yeah, like a standard drive. It's about 10 foot, 10 or 11 feet. So I think I'm gonna run down this portion of the drive and spray out lines from this side over 10 foot all the way down, just to give me a good baseline of where I'm gonna cut and fill in grass. It should be somewhere around here. Okay, so roughly, and I kind of wandered, but roughly I got my line, my 10.5-ish foot road for my neighbors. Over here, what I'm thinking is kind of starting about right here, getting my fork in the road to my drive. And you see that cutoff log there? That's kind of where I always imagined like a gate going. Okay, roughly what I'm thinking is you kind of see my little apron here. Thinking about giving myself about a 12-foot drive, just give or take. That'll bring me to, see that mark right there? That'll bring me to there, so I'll still have room. I actually own into what looks like their property through the trees. That's still my property over there. So give myself a 12-foot drive, kind of heading at an angle here. I really got to clear this out. Would have helped if I cleared this ahead of time. Thinking that about right here is where I want my gate, and then I'm going to start snaking left here. So where this pile is, I'm gonna be cutting through here. We're kind of halfway getting this marked out, and I'd like to kind of follow this tree line for a minute, and then wherever it kind of feels like it makes sense, snake back that way, and then snake back that way. A lot of this is just by feel, a lot of it. All of it is just by feel. I don't have any sort of blueprint that I'm going off of. I'm just making sure that I'm within my property lines, which I am. And yeah, I'm just gonna kind of walk this out and just kind of feel where I should go. What I should have done was cleared this pile out of the way so I could have actually driven my truck through here, but I can do that a little bit later. I just kind of want to get a rough idea here. I'm gonna get back to the wheel, start laying this out. Okay, so generally speaking, I'm close. Got my apron kind of hooking that way. Okay, we're coming through this pile here. Gate's going about that post. And by the time we're here, like on the main drive, got a little bit of landscaping to our left, maybe adding some trees to hide myself from the neighbors. I like my privacy. That's why I bought this place. It bothers me that my kitchen window looks at their backyard. Personal preference. So we're shooting off this way. This is a pretty comfortable curve. You know, I'm keeping in mind I'm obviously in a, you know, a small truck. So I'm trying to imagine, like, okay, me driving down this drive with a semi-trailer essentially. I want a nice comfortable turn. I'm not going to be coming in and out of here with a semi-truck every day, so if I have to just slightly veer off and clip the grass a little bit every once in a while, that's okay. I want my drive to be more so catered to my everyday use, which is going to be in, you know, smaller trucks and such. So we're turning this way. I want to take a gradual turn here and then connect my walk to my front door, like on the side here. There's things that I got to imagine up here. I'm going to continue on this gradual turn right past that bucket basically, and then connect into my drive that goes to the back. So I'm close. I'm also going to consult with my superintendent when he gets here on the weekend, you know, seeing his experience, what he would do. The main part that I really wanted to get figured out was the main entrance, where the gate's going, where my first turn is going. The rest kind of be played by ear as we're working. I think I'm gonna call it quits for now, take a couple pictures, mull it over. Come Saturday, 2 days from now, we'll be cutting this in. I also wanted to get paint down because we're expecting rain. Unfortunately, there's gonna be a little bit of rain, but I already got most of the equipment here. I can't hold on to it for another week. Saturday should be kind of scattered. Sunday right now is looking pretty tough, so hopefully we have the majority done in one day. I'm gonna get back to the backyard. We still got topsoil to move back there. getting started on this thing. I was gonna record a little bit early before I started. It was pouring rain, and that is going to be a common theme of this weekend. We're gonna be battling rain for sure. Essentially, I'm just getting everything cleaned up. I say my superintendent where I work came over and just ran the dozer just to get started on shape, just to get an idea on grade, what we're gonna have to do for the road itself. Excuse me. Shoveling down some crackers just to get some food in my belly because I got no time to eat. Get an idea of what we need to do to make this grade right, you know, get it draining into what's going to be the grass area, also lay out on the road itself and everything. So my job this evening before we hit it heavy tomorrow morning is to clean up that pile. So I want to shape that pile of millings and kind of bring it this way because I want to continue on, you know, I want my privacy like I said, so I want to continue on this kind of bank of material and just shape it so it's clean. From there, just kind of fart around for the evening. This is gonna be a tough one. Look at this. Oh boy. Getting everything done before I have to get rid of the equipment on Monday morning. So unfortunately, it's still looking like Sunday is gonna be a wash. So I really only have tonight, Friday, and tomorrow all day. Hopefully the rain doesn't come tomorrow. Tomorrow the main job is going to be, you know, we're going to start peeling up all these millings here, loading them up in a truck, and I'm going to be hauling and dumping along a haul road, basically just adding to the back of the property to give me a solid road from the little hairpin turn here all the way back to where the Peterbilt's hiding out over there. That's where I'm going to be taking the material. I'll probably burn up all of it in that haul road, to be honest. I don't think I'm gonna have to stockpile any of this. I'm gonna get back in the operator's chair in that 138 and start shaping this pile here. Yeah, we'll see how far I get tonight. That way I'm ready to work with the guys that I'm paying tomorrow. So, let's get moving. All right, I got the general shape here. I'd like to extend this all the way and connect to the other one. In order to do that, I would definitely have to bring topsoil in. So hopefully I can start loading trucks before it gets dark in order to do that. Plus that'll kind of benefit me for tomorrow because I'll be set up to start pulling from that pile that I want to pull from. But for now, I want to clean this up. I could do another pass with the excavator, but I'd like to hop in this dozer and just start to get a feel for controls. I've never even once sat in the operator's chair of something this new. My extent of dozer control is steering clutches coming out of the floor. So as far as like joystick, hydrostatic control goes, never. So I'm gonna fire this thing up and see if I can start to get a feel for it, because I got a feeling I'll probably be needed in the chair for a little bit tomorrow, depending on who I have here. So yeah, let's fire this thing up, see how I do. I mean, not bad, I think. Obviously, I was moving really slow. Definitely gonna take some getting used to. I mean, I think I did okay. I flattened it out. So, sure. I'm sure I'll be really learning the ropes here tomorrow. I'm rushing, and I made a mistake. I got in a little bit too deep with the dump truck, where it's soft. This is gonna be a tough one. Look at this. Oh boy. Yeah, she's stuck. So I'm gonna see if I can't kind of dig it out. I'll try pulling first and just see what happens. I got about half of the load out of the truck. But yeah, she's in there. So let's see. Here's where we're at. Yeah, that axle is just buried back there. Let's see what we can do. Barely even put pressure on that thing. I mean, I obviously put enough to break it, but we barely even started. If things couldn't get worse, I lost my glasses.
My glasses! I can't see without them!
I feel like Velma. I dropped them over there and then I forgot that I dropped them and they're gone. I really liked those glasses. I'm gonna try and retrace my steps real quick. Never felt such relief and such defeat all at the same time. I'm happy to have this thing out, and I'm sorry the recording was just a time lapse, but I had no idea when, like, I had zero confidence in that truck getting out that time. I did the same thing 4 different times, and quite frankly, I kept picking it up to shift it over, but I couldn't pull it towards me. Like, it didn't have enough mustard, if you will, to pull it towards me, so I had to keep pushing it out. And unfortunately, out is towards the soft side. And obviously with the trees, I couldn't get on the other side to do what I was doing the opposite way. I prayed heavy right before that last bit, and I'm assuming that's the only reason why it got out. So that and maybe a stroke of luck, but wow, that sucked. I'm happy to have it out so I can continue the work tomorrow, because I was getting really nervous that I was gonna burn the morning up with the help just to pull a truck out rather than get right to work. So the downside is, again, I'm fighting for time, and all the work over the last 3 hours that I was planning on doing, I just lost. So again, bittersweet, big feeling of defeat, but I'm just happy that it's out so I can get to work tomorrow morning. And I lost my glasses. Those are my original safety glasses with the breezeway sides on them. They were getting a little scratched up, but I really liked those. If nothing else, you know, I could replace the lenses and keep the frame, but they're gone. I'm gonna touch this up a little bit, turn the camera off, I'm out of battery, and then I gotta clean up, get my batteries charged, get everything ready for the guys tomorrow morning. Talk to you then. Good morning. Bright and early. Just getting things together. Actually, people are starting to show up. It's just before 7 o'clock. Grabbing some grease, getting everything greased up. And I think I'm gonna be on the dozer in the back, pushing, milling, getting a little road together. And then Russ is gonna be up front cutting all the millings out, and then I got another buddy coming out. It's gonna be hauling truck. Once we get rolling here, get some light outside, we'll update you, but that's what we're doing right now. Just getting ready. All right, Russ is up front, starting to cut out asphalt. I'm back here with the dozer. What I'd like to do is just get a gradual path from here to where the truck is. 4 or 5 inches of millings. You know, obviously this is all millings already, but it's uneven and there's dirt mixed into it, so it gets soft. I'm gonna establish a path, just kind of a gradual cut in, flatten it out, give the truck something to look at when he's bringing his loads in. Another thing that I noticed this morning, my culvert here, just from running over it 1,000 times, poked a little hole through. I have a little settling area, and essentially what I'm thinking is, it looks like this pipe comes here and it's one size, and then if I step right on top of that one, this one comes this way and it's another size. It's a little bit smaller, and I think it's kind of tucked inside of this one. Not sure. What I do know is they're not connected, and I'm losing my road into the culvert. It's just another thing that, you know, was just half by the previous owner. It's just a shame. Nothing on this property was done correctly. Anyway, I was gonna move a couple pieces of concrete on top of it, but my skid steer battery is dead. I think I left the key on or something, I don't know. This morning is really shaping up. Just gotta take the punches, you know what I mean? Just gotta keep rolling. So I think there's enough room on the one side of the pipe where we can, you know, hug the other end and just roll over the one pipe rather than the other, so we don't keep losing dirt. But I'm gonna quit yapping, jump up on this dozer, and start my training. How hard could it be, you know?
Oh, dude, I don't even know what to say.
Thank you.
Didn't mean it that way, but...
You're not good at anything, something you aspire to be, which obviously isn't
An operator.
It's just rubbish.
Let's just take a minute to appreciate how graceful he is when he's putting the bucket down.
And on the nights I bring home work from the office, work that has to be finished by morning, you're always there. For a constant tenderness I rarely notice, but I'm sure I couldn't live without it.
Surprise, surprise, we found a tire in the middle of the driveway. We're gonna go pluck it out. See it? Surprise, surprise. You're about to see what I love about this property. Tires everywhere. Everywhere. I've pulled out probably 50. And that's just like where I've been.
the very first time.
Ready?
Yeah, I guess so.
Wax on, wax off, wax on, wax off, wax on, wax.
For the very first time. For the very first time. For the very first time.
Back up and down this thing.
Okay.
We don't have a roller here. We gotta tighten this up.
Okay.
It's gonna just cover everything.
Loaded.
Loaded, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. We'll get everything tightened up best we can. And then I'll strike it off again. Lots of magic has to happen here today, I can tell you.
Yeah.
Okay, so we got that load there. You got one in the truck, okay. I'll get that cut out. I'll knock this down so we can get that other load dumped up there, okay? And then you can go back and start hauling some topsoil up here. We'll just start stacking the topsoil down here, and then we'll get a bunch of it. And then once I get this road taken care of, I can.
What? Are we cutting more out of this, or are you just going to push it with the dozer?
No, I think I can level it off from here where we're at, because that road's kind of high.
Yeah.
So I can level off these high spots that we've got, and then just cover them
So
with
we don't need
topsoil.
to peel any more out.
I don't think so. I think we got enough to build the road.
All right.
Down here, you got plenty of room to dump while I'm doing that.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Just start stacking them along the road, like 1, 2, 3, 4.
yeah, just to keep them tight, you know, and then keep them tight in there. I can move them around. Okay.
moving. Loading topsoil right now. Russ is out there pushing it. Check out my Hemiway bike. MVP of the day, because I'm running back and forth, dropping cameras off and doing time lapses and stuff. If you haven't seen the video on that Hemiway bike, it's nice. I'll leave a link for it in the description. But I said I was gonna do a review after using it for some time, and I've been using it for a couple months now, and she's nice. I haven't really been able to cat it down the road because I just make use of it here on the property, but I would like to take it down the street, see how fast I can get going, stuff like that. I got a little bird's nest. I don't know if I've pointed it out yet or not. I can't remember what these birds are called, but you can see them walking around. But they've got a little nest going on. They're the birds that, plant a nest in the ground. She's probably yelling at me because I'm getting too close. But I've got a little, barrier set up with the equipment here just to make sure that we don't hit the eggs. I was wondering why the birds were hovering around me as I was doing all this work through the week. That's why. I'm glad I found it. But, all right, Tommy's heading back for another load. Let's load him up, keep on moving. Because it's mostly all time lapse because I don't have time to, get the camera out and talk and record and all that stuff. So I don't know how this is going to turn out. I'm doing my best though. I hope you guys are enjoying. We're getting close. We got a little bit more topsoil to spread up front, and then it's about 5 o'clock, so I'm not going to expect Russ to stay much longer than that. There's obviously still a ton to do, but if the front gets done, when the front gets done, I'm going to be a happy camper. So I think I got about one more load to bring up front until we pretty much wrap that up, and that'll be it. It ended up being a really nice day too. We got a little bit of rain this morning and that was it, so I'm grateful for that. We actually got blue skies at this point. It's been pretty much gray all day, threatening rain, but it's gorgeous right now. Honestly, kind of getting hot. Also, those of you with a good eye for dirt are gonna realize, probably already have by now, that this is not topsoil. This is peat. At the beginning everything set so a truck could come back. It just wouldn't be worth the time. This is going down pretty good, and quite frankly, it really doesn't matter. It's gonna grow really good grass. It's just gonna be really soft. So as long as Russ isn't complaining about how it's going in, which he said it's fine. It's a little light, a little moist, but all in all, it's going in okay. So we just ran it. Listen, I'm not going to apologize for the way I am. I know I probably killed 15 animals during this whole process of cleaning up this whole yard and putting in this drive and everything. But the thing is, I watched my bucket hit this chipmunk, and yeah, it's just, I don't know, there's something about me that if I see something like that happen, I have to give my best effort to, you know, make it okay and nurse it back to health. And I have cats, you know, whenever they catch a bird or a chipmunk or something, if I get to it before it dies, I do the same thing. Rarely do they ever survive. It may be more humane to put it out of its misery, I don't know. But this little guy broke his back leg from my bucket, I think. I kept him actually in the house with me. He seemed to be doing better, but yeah, finally I guess it took the better of him, and he passed. So in memory of the little chipmunk, I'm burying him in my new little landscape area next to a tree, and I hope he rests in peace. With that said, the front drive is done. We have the driveway put in, all of the topsoil is put in. The last thing I need to do is seed and straw. And when I do that, I'm also going to do my best to kind of seed and straw the back property. I don't really know how carried away I'm gonna get there. I think the majority of the areas that I spread topsoil in, I think they'll pop enough grass to get the county off my butt about it. But I am in the Cleveland area, I'm in Cuyahoga County, so they are sticklers about grass growth and stormwater runoff and such. That's half the reason why I rushed to do this project as quick as I could, because I get taxed for every square foot of impervious surfaces that I have on the property, and as y'all know by watching, I have a lot of it. So that was a big reason for me doing this, is every month I get a bill. They are not kind either. So anyway, I'll get back to you guys when I have, I'm gonna borrow a wow, is that a deer? Up there on the mound of clay. See him? Big boy. And it just looked funny because I'm sitting way back here and I saw him up on the mound up there. I don't typically get an eye on him sitting up there. Let's see how close I can get. As soon as I rounded the corner, that thing was gone. That was a big boy. Good news is, speaking of animals, I'm back here and all the rain that we got, one, the creek isn't flooding still. All my low areas that, I'll touch on this later, but I didn't get everything done that I wanted to before the equipment was pulled. So I got low areas and they're filling up with water quick, but luckily my birdies are in a little high spot over here. The eggs are okay, but man, yeah, right next to them. Okay, so anyway, on a weekend I'm gonna grab we have like straw blowers that hook up to skid steers, so I'm gonna grab one of those. Grab a couple buddies and a couple bales of straw, a lot of bales of straw. Cover this whole front area in the back. I'll probably only put seed on this front area and just kind of blow straw here and there in the back just to see what pops. Then we'll be wrapping this thing up after that, so I'll get back to you guys on that weekend. Well, there you have it. So with all that work, this is where we are sitting now. I'll take you through a little bit of it. Here's the thing, before I show you the final result of how far we got that Saturday, I just want to reiterate that's all we had was that Saturday. Sunday came, I tried doing some dozer work in the back and it was just pouring rain. There was nothing I could do. It was a little bit of a relief because I was dog tired and I got a day where I got to sit back and just edit for the day rather than break my back. But I would have really loved to have that Sunday to put the finishing touches on what I had a vision on doing. There's still a lot that I was hoping that I was going to get done over that weekend that I haven't been able to do. But with that said, I am so happy with how far we got on that Saturday and what we accomplished. And I'm very grateful. Again, just as a thank you, I'm grateful for my boss for loaning me the equipment. I'm grateful for Russ, my superintendent, for coming in from he was here from 6:30 until I think 6:30 or 7. He had a long day with me, and just so you know, I mean, salt of the earth type of guy. He texted me after thanking me for the opportunity to get out and play in the dirt. He said he really needed that. And then of course my old buddy from school, Tommy, I texted him like with no notice at all. I was scrambling for people. I reached out on a whim and asked him to drive truck. He had a bunch of other things going on of the day and he still made it out to help me out for about 6 hours or so driving truck. Just, again, it's great to have good friends. So I don't think either one of them will see this video, but I'll say thank you to both just on film, just so you guys know how appreciative I am of the two guys that I had here helping. And I hope that y'all appreciate their help as well. So with that said, what did we, sneak peek at the truck, what did we accomplish here on Saturday? Well, we stripped out all the asphalt, got all of the topsoil down, which I did mention in the video that I was wrong about that dirt. It was topsoil to begin with and then quickly turned into 100% peat. I was talking to Russ, he did say it was really light, so he was having a tough time feeling out, you know, because we didn't have any grades to go off of, so he was feeling with the machine how he was grading the dirt. I know nothing about this because you saw my dozer work, but for him, he can feel the machine and how it's moving, how the grades are turning out and which way everything's pitched, and if he windrows up some dirt, he can put his tracks on it to help how he's grading. There's a bunch of science to it, but a lot of it's feel. Essentially, he had none of that because whatever he was putting down, whenever he would run his tracks over it, it would just sink, you know, it'd flatten out because the material's so soft and light. Very impressive what he was able to accomplish even with that going against him. Again, like I mentioned when I was on the excavator, it would have taken me way too much time. I would have blown time repositioning myself, making a road for the truck, all just to get a different material when this was working out good enough. So we wrapped up the day with getting all of the road 100% in and rolled into the best of our ability with the truck, and our two side yards to the road, essentially. I came back at a future date to put in where you see this bare spot and my walk to the house. Take a look at that real quick. I had an existing stockpile of this stuff, so I used it up for my front walk and just gave myself, you know, something better than grass, you know. I still got to do some filling in here and get some grass planted. And just so you know, everything that you're looking at, I have not had any time to put seed and straw down. So this is just weed growth. I will say it's nice to have some green to look at, and I did knock it down with the mower yesterday. It's not perfect. It's pretty scattered. I got to get some seed and straw down. Honestly, with how the weeds are growing in, I might just try scattering some seed down and, you know, putting it in before a rain and see if the weed coverage will do me good enough with insulating the seed and keeping moisture down and stuff. But I reconfigured this dirt area here. I gave myself a little swoop here, and then I'm gonna do I got plans for some asphalt patching. That's why I left the grade a little bit above where the asphalt is right now. But anyway, what we missed out on doing is when I got that truck stuck, I was planning on doing a lot more work with my topsoil banking here. I was gonna continue on the pile even further. That's what I was doing when I got stuck. And then I was gonna clean up the rest of the stuff that I hadn't gotten a chance to clean up yet. And I just kind of had to abandon that project as it sat. It's good enough right now. But yeah, essentially that's the front here. Again, I'm just ecstatic with how it turned out. It's exactly how I imagined it to be. A little bit bummed about the work that I missed out on doing because of the weather, but satisfied enough. So with that said, let's jump to the back and talk about what we're doing back here, what I got done over the weekend, and what the future plans are. All right, the back 40. We got this road put in. Again, there was already a bunch of millings back here, but I wanted an established road from this turn to where I have the truck sitting back there. Again, that's where I want to put the container shop in the future, in probably the very near future at this point, or at least getting the containers set up. I know as it sits right now, I'm creating a dam. I get it that my road is higher than the grade around it. That was another thing that I was going to be addressing with the dozer on that Sunday. That's what I was trying to do, was I was going to position myself up on the topsoil pile and push it down up to my road to grade everything to the road so I could cover all the millings that are beyond this road with dirt. I'm not going to take the time to strip all those up. It's fine how it is. I'm just going to cover it with 6 or 8 inches of topsoil, and that'll be good enough. Same thing over here on this side. I'm going to leave a little bit of the millings over here where I have my row of machines and old trucks and such, and then obviously all the millings by where the trucks are, so I can build off of that with more gravel or concrete or what have you. What I did get done Sunday in the rain was I tracked my dozer up on top of all the piles of dirt from where we stripped out along the creek. So all that dirt that I was dumping back here, I at least got it flattened out. Boy, do I have so much work to do back here. I mean, it kind of sucks that I ran out of time with the weather. I really could have used that extra day to at least to get this area draining properly, but so it goes. I mean, it's not the end of the world. I guess what that means for me and for y'all is I am going to have to jump on that TD14 sooner rather than later, because I am going to need a dozer to fix this situation over here. So I got to get that TD14 steering, and then we got to do a full service to it. So that is definitely on the short list as far as what I want to get to in the near future. I have a couple things that I have to finish up before I get to that, including finishing the front house so I can sell that with the shop, and then we can move the whole operation back here. So again, that is all in the very, very near future. With that said, that wraps this one up. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I did the best I could with the footage that I had. Again, I was really rushing and trying to cram everything in. The way that this video is turning out isn't exactly how I wanted it to be. There's a lot of time-lapse footage. But I hope it kept your attention. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you enjoyed following along and watching the process. If you could do me a favor, like the video, share it, subscribe to the channel. If you've watched me before and haven't subscribed yet, I would appreciate it if you did. We've got so much coming down the pipeline here, and I am so excited to get it all done. I'm running as fast as I can at this point. So thanks for tagging along. Thanks for watching. I'll be looking forward to getting more done on this property, and I'll be recording along the way. So stick around. I'll see you on the next one, but always remember, don't be afraid to grab that wrench, get after yourself. We'll see you next time. Oh, also, if you hear the birds in the background, Mama had her babies. One did not survive, but I think there were 4 eggs total. The other 3 turned out just fine. So they're still living back here in this corner somewhere, as you can tell by the chirping. All right, we'll catch you on the next one.